Hey guys, it's Tinker Tailor here today, bringing you back another Pokemon build series video. So today we are working on Nidoqueen, who is the last evolution of the Nidoran female line. And to be perfectly honest with you, this Pokemon looks like if a mouse and a reptile had a very angry baby, and it was blue. That is the vibes I'm getting from the visuals of this Pokemon. Apparently it's a very defensive Pokemon, it's very protective of its young, and so I kind of felt like this would be maybe like somebody's grandparents. Because grandparents, yes, they're like parents are protective of their children, but grandparents are even more so protective, I feel. I feel like they're just very, very, um, like they will do everything to take care of their grandkids. And I know that's not everybody's grandparent. I completely understand that some people's grandparents are not like that. But that is just the vibes that this particular Pokemon gave me. And yeah, I just decided to go ahead and build like a grandparents' family home. Now, I kind of took inspiration from both my grandparents' and great grandparents' houses, um, both on different sides of the family. But what the my grandparents have moved to several different homes, and I've visited a lot of them. But the one that I took inspiration from was one that I was very young. I believe I hadn't even hit primary school yet. So I was very, very, very young when we visited that house. And it's just very, I don't want to say loose vibes in my head of what it is. It's very unclear in my mind. That's probably a good way of saying it. It's not very clear in my mind what this place truly looks like, but it has some aspects of uh my memory. Like my this build has some aspects of what I remember of that house. And then my great grandparents on the other side, their house, they've lived there for as long as I can remember. So I definitely do know that house a lot better. And yeah, I don't know, I wanted to kind of mix the two sides together and also kind of not mix it together. So it's not like, if you were from either side of my family, I don't think you'd be able to look at this house and be like, oh, it's that part that you took inspiration from. But there are some things that, yeah, for me, I definitely did take some inspiration from. Like the stone that I end up putting outside is from my grandparents' house a long time ago, and that's the one thing that came from this house is that little bit of stone. Um, and then the kind of the way I furnish it and the general warmer vibes inside, the family friendly orientation. That's kind of the vibes, I guess, of it. I wanted it to feel very, yeah, homely and like anyone's grandparents. So that's definitely what I tried to do. So definitely let me know down below if it's anything like your grandparents' house. I know some people's grandparents live in like just completely different circumstances to what most grandparents live in. Some people's grandparents live in retirement villages, some people's grandparents live in um is it trailers? I don't know if that's the right word. We don't really have trailers in Australia. But trailer homes I think are a thing that exist in America. So yeah, I don't know, that there's just lots of fun different ways that people's grandparents live. Some people's grandparents I'm sure live in mansions. I mean, it could be anything. But yeah, I wanted this to feel very much like a family home. And I also wanted it to feel a bit hidden. So maybe like these grandparents just don't trust the people around them, that they don't really trust anyone in the area that they live, so they kind of live off to the side here. And yeah, it's to protect the grandkids. They've got a safe space for the grandkids to go. If there's anyone who's approaching, they can easily see them coming because they're the only people in this little area and this little lot. Um, and yeah, I just wanted to be a little bit more hidden away compared to probably the houses within town that you can kind of see in the background there. So that is sort of the vibe that we went with. But yeah, this will be the last Pokemon build for now. I will be getting back to them. I'm not abandoning them. Don't worry. If you want to see more, we will 1000% have more. There's no, like, you don't have to worry about that. It's just next month is the A to Z challenge, and I do it every year in February, and I'm committing to that. So we will have those builds being done in February. But in the background, I will be doing more Pokemon builds. So when we get back to March, we will have more of these builds for you. But the A to Z challenge, just in case you didn't know what it was, is a challenge that I have created where for me, each day of February, except the last 2 to 3 days, depending on if it's leap year or not, I get a letter and I build something based off that letter. So it's not a letter as in the shape, like I don't draw the letter A and then build a house in it, but it could be an aviary or an airport or anything that begins with A. I can go build that. And then the next day I do B and so on and so forth until I get to the end. And then we're done. So that is what I do for this challenge. And I'm also using CC. So if you also use CC, fantastic. But if you don't, no worries. The rest of my builds do not use CC because I know not everybody wants to or can use CC. And what else? I do run it as a 26-week challenge. It's more like 26 mini challenges, I should say. So from July to December, I run a challenge where, yeah, it's the same concept. You get the letter, and we go in the order of the alphabet as people sing it in childhood. And yeah, you basically get that letter and you build something based off that. You can do a room build, a build that is more than just a room, or a CAS creation. There are several different ways in my mind that I'm thinking of doing it. Because I change it up every so often. I definitely have to look at getting the CAS kits because if I'm doing CAS creations, I need to do kits. And yeah, it's just not easy to tour cast creations if you don't have the kits. So that's definitely something I'm looking into. But yeah, we definitely tour the builds and the rooms as well. So if you are interested, you can definitely get a head start now. You, like I said before, it's 26 individual challenges. Sorry, my brain just forgot how to speak there for a second. 26 individual challenges, and you get to pick how many, if any, that you participate in. There's no shells that are attached to it. There are no rules about what lots you have to use or what packs you can or can't use. The only one I have is no CC, because if I want to tour it, if you use CC, I can't tour it. I know I have CC, but I don't know if I have the same CC that you do, and yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot easier and fairer on console players if no CC. Also for the people who use laptops that can barely run Sims as it is. When I started on Sims, I had a laptop that barely worked. Barely worked. It was fine for, running Word. That was pretty much it. Just a little laptop for high school that did the bare necessities. And when I got Sims, I had what was it? I had base game and cats and dogs. And as long as I didn't try and create a cat or a dog or anything like that in The Sims, I could still play the game. I could still build. Building was absolutely fine, but yeah, like trying to create any creature in the game, absolutely no, could not do it. The game did not want to cooperate with me. So yeah, it's definitely something gotta make sure I include as many people as possible because I remember what it was like to really struggle to even open the game. So yeah, if you want to get involved, you absolutely can. If you only have base game, go for gold. I do not have any requirements for you to have any sort of particular pack or kit or whatever. It's just you build from your heart what you can, what you want. And I understand if people don't have all of the DLC or any of the DLC, or they just have base game or whatever. Totally get that. So yeah, definitely don't feel discouraged from joining if you don't have everything, or if you're new to the game or whatever. Uh, you're always welcome, no matter what level of ability you are. Because yeah, like I said, I want it to be a fun and inclusive challenge. I want it to be something where you get to lean into your own creativity and kind of jump outside your comfort zone. There are a lot of letters that you'd really be surprised at how difficult they are. Like E. I didn't think E would be so hard. It is one of the most popular letters in the entire language. Um, but trying to come up with a build that starts with E, let me tell you, it was painful. So painful to come up with ideas for it. And I don't think any year that I've done a decent build for the letter E, it's always the letter E that lets me down. So, you know, if you wanna just participate in the easy letters, go for gold. I do not judge you for that, because if I could, I would, but my challenge and I have to I have to do it. So yeah, but that's why next month we will not be having Pokemon builds, but like I said before, don't you worry, they will be back. I already have ideas for, I think, like the next couple of months after that, like from March to maybe like June or something. I have ideas for all the builds that I want to do. And we will definitely be doing them, and I'm very, very excited to get in and get some of these builds done. Like I already there are some months in the later half of the year where I don't have ideas, but the end of the year, I have ideas for the last Pokemon of the year and the first Pokemon of next year. And in my head, it's really a cool idea, and I really hope it works out the way I want it to, because it just they're really cool ideas. And I don't want to say too much. I don't want to spoil build ideas, but yeah, we've definitely got a lot of builds kind of fizzling around in the back of my head, and I'm very, very, very excited for that. And I hope you guys are too. And I mean, I hope you guys are enjoying this challenge as a whole. It's something that I've definitely had a lot of fun with. It's definitely helping me get outside my creativity zone, and it is also something that, you know, sometimes I just don't know what to build, and I get kind of stuck, and I build these kind of really terrible builds, if I'm being quite honest. But here it's like, you know, this is the second kind of suburban home I've done. Yesterday we did a suburban home. Um, but I've never really done these, and I definitely feel the areas where I'm lacking, especially the furnishing. The furnishing of a suburban home, I can't wrap my poor little brain around it. But I know where I need to work now. I know where I need to gain more creativity and more realism and things like that. So, you know, I'm not particularly upset that it's not my best thing, but I'm actually kind of proud that I'm attempting new things that I've not really tried before. You know, that they're just things that are different, and I don't know if I would have done it without this challenge. I don't know how many suburbans. I mean, I feel like I have done a few at the beginning when I first started sharing videos, but I don't know how, I don't think they were very good. And these ones I feel a little bit better about. They're definitely a lot more fleshed out, I guess, a lot more detailed. Maybe not detailed. I'm trying not to overclutter. I have heard that some people in the community who download builds to play don't like builds being super cluttered. And so yeah, I am trying to balance my desire to overclutter things with also the playability of things. So I'm kind of half cluttering it, and I think that's what's kind of confusing me, because I don't like not cluttering. I like to clutter. I enjoy it. I like it feeling lived in. But if people want to actually play the game, like play with the builds, I also need to keep these people in mind. So, you know, I'm just having fun figuring it out, and working my way through it. So yeah, I don't know. It's something that I know I see some people do absolutely phenomenally beautiful builds and just absolutely get away with doing these jaw-dropping builds, and they're so overly cluttered and beautiful, but they're also so time consuming. And I feel like because I have this challenge where there's so many different things to do, I feel like the over cluttering is a bit much. So I'm definitely trying to not be as cluttery. I definitely want to be detailed. I definitely want it to be, you can tell people live here. But yeah, like I also said, try and balance out the idea of people living there and the playability. Um, but I think I've rambled on enough about that. Also, the exciting thing about the A to Z challenges, I've already started on some of these builds. I started on them months ago. So all I really need to do is go in and record the videos or edit the videos and things like that. I by the end of today, I could have at least the first two done. By the end of this weekend, I could, if I really put my mind to it, I could be done up to the letter J, which is like absolutely insane to think like that far ahead. I don't think I'm gonna push myself that hard because that is a lot of work, but I have made a lot of progress already on these things, and I'm just very excited to actually have done these things. So I don't know, I really love this challenge, even though it really does. It takes a lot out of me. Because I stream every day too with it, and that's the thing, is it's gonna be very exhausting. I think you guys will be able to hear it in my voice. I think last year with the challenge, I started off like really happy and cheery and upbeat because before that I'd been doing 2 videos a week, and then I went to a video every single day and streaming every single day. I think I'd maybe been streaming 2 to 3 times before that, like a week before that. So 2 videos a week, 2 to 3 streams a week, and then yeah, like every day streaming, every day voicing a video. It was exhausting. I was so tired. But I've been voicing and uploading and recording videos and whatnot for this entire month, so it kind of feels like it's almost like the norm now. It's just, yeah, I've been a little bit slack with streaming because I've been trying to keep up with this challenge. But like I said, with this, I feel like with the streaming, I can get a lot of builds done in the background. I feel like, yeah, if I do a lot of building within those streams, at least one build per stream, one small build or part of a bigger build, I feel like, yeah, I could definitely smash my way through a bunch of builds, a bunch of videos, and come out the other side a lot stronger, a lot further ahead. And also the last 2 days of February, I take off. I'm not streaming on those days. I'm not showing videos on those days. I'm gonna rest and relax and probably edit a bunch of videos and voice a few of them just to get ahead. At one point my goal was to be an entire month ahead, but I feel like recording videos a month in advance is a bit silly because, like the new kits came out yesterday, the cozy chic one and the new lounge one by Sim. That tells you how much I pay attention to what these things are called. To be honest, I don't know what anything is ever called in these games. I make up names for them. But yeah, the point being, like, I can't really talk about the new kits and stuff like that, or the new, pretty sure they're gonna be announcing a new, uh, expansion pack, I think, in just a little bit. I've been avoiding spoilers on purpose, although it's really hard when people make spoiler their entire thumbnail. So I might have to, mute or unfollow a few people just to not get those spoilers anymore. Uh, Even though I enjoy I watch many different people within the Sims community, and it's not just all the people who are talking good or all the people who are talking bad. I kind of find a spread of people so that I can sort of get an understanding of the reality of the Sims. I know that some people are going to be, little Simsy just came out with a kit, and of course she's going to be happy and excited and, say that she loves it, and reading all the comments, they're going to say they love it too. But, you know, if you go to the opposite side and you people are like, yeah, it's kind of mid, or I don't really like it, or whatever, you can kind of get, sometimes these people can be overly negative, but you get sort of the full spectrum of feelings. And I don't know, I find that to be helpful to understand where the game is at, because if you just with all the popular thoughts, or all the positive thoughts is what I was actually trying to say, all the positive thoughts or all the negative thoughts, you're going to lean further into those thoughts. And I want to keep a nice little balanced view of the game. Like, don't get me wrong, as a builder, I feel very well taken care of. There are some things that are a little dodgy, like round rooms, but I feel like because I don't know enough about game coding and things like that, I don't know how easy or difficult that would be. And I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. So, you know, as a builder, I feel pretty well taken care of. I don't really face that many glitches. And a lot of the things that I want to do, I can kind of figure out how to do that a different way. You know, I don't necessarily have to download mods or anything like that to get what I want. I can kind of have fun with it, play around with it, and whatever. You know, if you wanna build a room without it actually turning into a separate room, you can just pick up a wall and then drop it, and it shouldn't be a new room. Um, you know, things like that. It's really, really not hard as a builder. And so I definitely do try and keep a positive view of that aspect of the game, because realistically, I'm not, there's not many things there that's letting me down. But I do understand from a gameplay point of view, there are some things that people aren't a fan of. I don't play the game necessarily, so for me to be able to find out these issues, to understand them, I do need to have a look at the people who have things to say that aren't that nice, or that are not that they're not nice, but things that are negative. Um, so yeah, I definitely do try and take everyone's thoughts into account, but I want to, yeah, kind of form my own thoughts and opinions and feelings about this game. And I think it's super handy to be able to do that by, yeah, looking at everyone, seeing what everyone thinks and feels, and then formulating my own opinion. Um, because I do understand there are some flaws in this game, but I think the game is improving, and I feel like the people who are positive are going to be extra happy about that, but the people who are really negative are going to be a bit jaded about it, and that kind of makes me sad. You know, if they're putting in effort, maybe we should acknowledge and um not necessarily accept it, but definitely acknowledge it. I do understand though that people who have been continually let down don't necessarily want to accept people, like they don't generally don't want to accept things finally going the way that they want it to be, and feeling like it's still not good enough. I understand that. But I'm also someone who tries to be more positive, and you know, I see the things that they've been doing over the last, I would even hazard to say the last couple of years. They've been trying. EA and the team have been really trying to improve everything, and you know, the build stuff's definitely improved, and I absolutely love and appreciate the people who are putting the time and effort into that. And I like the fact that the bug team, who were only meant to be there for 6 months, have continued to work on bugs. And I understand that some really, really big bugs haven't been addressed yet, but they're really, really big. I imagine it would take a longer time to address them. So again, I'm not a game player, but I'm still being patient, waiting for said bugs to be fixed for the people who do play them. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's I don't run a game company. I don't know how it would even begin, so I don't want to judge people for what is happening and what they're doing and things like that, but can definitely point out things that should be addressed, and once they're addressed, you know, or when they start being addressed, we can be like, hey, you know, good job. But until then, yeah, we probably should keep pointing them out. But also, yeah, when things are actually being worked on, we should be happy that they are. But you know, if you feel differently, you absolutely are entitled to your feelings. You don't have to agree with me. Um, You can absolutely feel whatever way you want. This is just how I feel. But anyway, I have rambled on way long. We are pretty much at the end of the build. Definitely let me know your thoughts down below on the build, and if you want to see more stuffs like this, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!